Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Tuesday night, the 11th of May. And the Joe and Joe Weather Show is brought to you by the folks at Omni True Value Hardware. Spring is here, and of course, that means you got to get your yard looking like it's a I don't even know what the right adjective is. You want it to look spectacular. You want it to be the envy of your neighbors. They've got mulch and they make it there. So they not only have an endless supply, but they have the best prices in town. They certainly beat the prices of the big box stores. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon on Long Island in southwest Suffolk County. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number. The website is omnitruevalue.com. So here we are, another day. It started out nicely with sun. Clouds came in. Wasn't a total disaster by any stretch of the imagination. There were some scattered showers dotting the radar, and a couple of folks messaged me. Joe Mayano, who's on the watches the live stream sometimes, and he's on my subscription platform on Patreon. He messaged me. He was up in at Wyndham, and he had rain, snow, and sun all at the same time. And Timothy Veltman said the same thing in some of the higher mountains in upstate New York, doing rain, snow, and sun all at the same time.
Did they have a snow bow?
Okay, yeah, exactly. A snain bow.
Something like that.
Yes.
Well, it's kind of like it was last year at this time. We had unseasonably chilly weather across much of the northeastern United States, and we're once again in kind of a backwards type spring situation. Although I think, Joe, that once we get past tomorrow night, I think at least by Thursday and Friday and the weekend, temperatures are going to recover back to more seasonable or more reasonable levels. And hopefully we'll be able to hold on to those kind of temperatures into next week. In fact, our friends over at the Climate Prediction Center, and in a couple of minutes, I know this, I could share the screen here with you and everybody else, show you that they have pretty much this part of the country in above normal for not only the 6 to 10 day outlook, but for the 8 to 14 day outlook, and also below normal in terms of precipitation. Dare I say, a spell of mild or maybe even warm and dry weather heading our way after this maybe final fling with unseasonable chill coming up over, again, the next 24 to 36 hours.
The European today kind of lended some support to that in another, when you go out to like day 8, 9, and 10, tries to pop up a nice ridge up the East Coast. I'm just a little cautious given the fact that we've seen the models try to do this in the midst of this negative NAO that we've been living with. The North Atlantic oscillation, the higher pressures up in the North Atlantic, the jet stream suppressed well to the south. And every time every time it seems to want to pop up a ridge in the east, it takes it away with something else coming down in the northern stream. Ruthless Goat, by the way, up in Colorado, in Loveland, Colorado, not too far from Denver, had snow today, as did Denver. And that makes it, Joe, 245 days. 245 days of a snow season from the first snow back late September, which, if you remember, as everybody remembers, was quite sizable, to today. I mean, that's 8 months. That is 8 months, and working on the ninth month. We can't even assume that this is the last one.
And don't forget that the first one they had in September came on the heels of a stretch of 90 plus degree temperatures. So it was like 90 degrees, and then literally within 48 hours, they had enough snow to shovel. That's really, really weird. And yeah, as you said, it extends all the way back to then 245 days. I mean, this is a little bit too much. And one would have to hope that even if you live in Denver and even if you are a snow lover, this is it. Let's finally start moving at least into spring, and maybe even start looking forward to summertime weather.
And a few people, more than a few people, have mentioned to me how the allergies. Well, it seems like every spring the allergies are awful, but they seem to be extra awful this year. And this is what happens when you have a cool spring with even normal precipitation. But when you have a cool spring, what that basically means is that it not only delays the blooming of the regular stuff that blooms this everything blooms this time of year, but it takes forever because the temperatures are below average. So your flowers last a long, long time. They can last for weeks. So the whole process just takes longer and longer. Of course, now going into the middle of May. It's the is oak pollen, which for me is on a. I don't. The last few years hasn't bothered me that much, and I have very little as far as allergies are concerned. Just used to be the oak pollen for about 5 days in May would give me a problem, and that stopped a few years ago. So um, I can't relate to the suffering that people are going through. But the climate prediction center's map that Joe's put up there, that's what you need. Because then everything blooms, everything blooms faster, and you get it over with. So that will help.
Yeah, you get that. Sometimes you get some springs where the cold weather holds everything down, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of like a day or so, it gets very warm, and there's like an explosion of pollen all over the place. I mean, even the cars start, especially the light-colored cars, start turning green, and that's when a lot of people really suffer. But yeah, the faster we get into this warm spell and the longer it lasts, the sooner we'll be able to, you know, have it, move on by. But as you can see, Joe, on the Climate Prediction Center's projection here, uh, a 50% probability in the darkest shade of orange over the plain states and the western Great Lakes. We are not quite to 40%. So it's not going to be one of those cases where it's going to be amazingly warm or, where we would have like near record high temperatures. But this seems to suggest that at least we'll be on the seasonably mild side of things. So 70 degrees is the normal. I would suspect that this map is suggesting that in the 6 to 10 day outlook, expect more often than not 70 to 75-degree temperatures, which will be nice compared to what we've been dealing with over these past couple of days, the past few days, where it's been hard pressed in some places to make it much above the mid 60s.
David Fuller is a early super chat hit tonight. Thank you, David. And you wrote that you had chicken park for dinner. I'm thinking you missed hit the K for the M, and it should be chicken parm. So I'm going to assume that you had a nice chicken parm dinner, which is always a good dinner to have. And now Joe Rayo has the CPC precipitation map.
Yes, and you can see that for the 6 to 10 day period, Joe, they are projecting below or near to below normal precipitation probabilities, all the way from Maine right down to the Carolina coastline. I see that where you are, you're expected to see near normal amounts of precipitation, and the heavy dose of precip seems to be in the portion of southeastern Texas and along the Louisiana border, where they have a 60% probability of above normal precipitation. And in fact, if we look at the probabilistic uh, amounts here, notice, if you will, the risk of heavy precipitation in that same zone where they have the 60%. They are projecting a slight chance of excessive precipitation for eastern Texas, southern sections of Arkansas, and much of northern, central, and western Louisiana for the period from May 19th through the 20th. So we'll see whether or not anything comes out of this. That is, that's within the 6 to 10 day time frame. And so they feel that there's a fairly good chance that those folks down there are going to be using their windshield wipers. And one thing that this does not tell you is how much of this is going to be of convective nature, and
Right.
whether or not what you see down here is going to be made up of possible severe weather. That certainly is a possibility. Certainly, we know that already the dew points are atrociously high down here. And to top everything else, down in Houston, they have a runaway tiger on the streets.
Oh, good Lord.
I don't know
No, I
if you
didn't.
saw that.
No, I did not see
No,
that.
there's some guy had a tiger. He was keeping a tiger, and now the tiger is loose in Houston, and they're still looking around for it. So I hope Addison Green, our old friend, I hope he doesn't run into the tiger
No,
in the
we don't want
coming
him
days.
to become lunch by
Yes.
any stretch of the imagination. Keith James II asking about the NASA launch, if we're going to put it up on the screen, and indeed we are, as soon as we're going to get a little closer to launch time. So in the meantime, let us carry on, and we will do a little weather. And I'm going to start with Tornado HQ's radar. And yeah, I was playing with this today, Joe, because I was thinking, that white background, it's very, very hard to see. And I wish we could change the background. And of course, as I looked close enough, I did find an option here to do that. But this is the weather that we're seeing right now through the Gulf states, where we've got various severe thunderstorm watches that are up, and a number of warnings of severe thunderstorm warnings, and looks like one tornado warning here inside that severe thunderstorm uh, that severe thunderstorm warning box. There's also a tornado warning box inside of that, and this is, I'll just pull up the whole text. This is for the counties of. All right, they issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Duval, southeastern McMullen, northwestern Jim Wells County, and southwestern Live Oak County. Ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are what they're expecting out of this. Let
Now
me.
that's something new. That's I mean, isn't a golf ball the same size as a ping pong ball?
Um,
I guess they just didn't want to.
it could be the tornado
I mean,
warning. Yeah, ping pong ball. Yeah, it's about the same. Maybe the guy likes ping pong. The tornado warning is for northeastern Duval, southeastern McMullen, and southwestern Live Oak County until 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. And this is where I always do, a disclaimer here, folks. If you're watching this later on tonight or on a replay tomorrow morning, obviously the radars are all dated. It is 7:43 Eastern Time at this very second that I'm pontificating. And be sure to go to your local National Weather Service office forecast page, and you can access that by going to weather.gov to get the latest information. But this is this is these thunderstorms down here in and around San Antonio, north and west of Corpus Christi, and then going northeast from there to just north of Houston. Northeast of Houston, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 severe thunderstorm warnings in play at the moment. There's heavy rain moving in through Louisiana and Arkansas, and right up through the middle Mississippi Valley along the Tennessee border with Arkansas, and just about reaching that small section there in southeastern Missouri. Also, looking at some showers and storms in the Florida Panhandle, and you can see them here. The ones to the west are a bit more impressive, although there are some pretty strong cells in Alabama, east of Montgomery, going into southwestern Georgia. And this area moving to the east, we've got a little cluster there on the coast, along the coast of South Carolina, with a severe thunderstorm warning at play at the moment. I'm not sure, is that near Charleston? Moncks corner. Well, let's see where this is. This is for
I think
Berkeley County in southeastern
they
South
should. You know what they ought
Carolina.
to do? They ought to do is, I know it'll take up a few extra seconds of their time, but for some of these counties, they ought to put it in parentheses and show it phonetically how you would best pronounce
Yeah,
these things.
I know. Steve Lapointe just hit super chat tonight. The weather simplicity is how he describes what we do, and that is definitely a compliment. Thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah, if you like the show, folks, uh, please by all means hit the like button because Joe and I like to be liked. Meanwhile, I moved up the radar.
Yes.
Yes, I moved up the radar to eastern PA to southern New England. Looks like there's a itsy bitsy shower south of Newark in New Jersey, and next to that is a teensy weensy shower that
Yeah.
has popped up. Also, a couple of sprinkles over eastern Long Island, some light showers in northeastern Pennsylvania. Looks like a little band of showers there in upstate New York, up I-81 south of Syracuse. And head up further north. We've got what could be maybe some rain and snow showers well up into upstate New York, a couple of clusters there, and also up into northwestern Vermont. So that takes care of that. And meanwhile, let's roll on to the west, where we've still got some snow going on. And Ruthless Goat posted on Facebook, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he posted a picture of an area that's inside. I believe he said. Let me go back to his comment. I think he said it was. I want to say Castle Rock. I wish my memory was better, and I should also remember that I need to write this stuff down in in that area north and west of Denver, where they get these snow squalls, Joe, where they basically put down 2 inches of snow in uh, in 10 minutes. I mean, that is incredible that they you get snow squalls that can actually do stuff like that. But the winter still
Must be an
lingers there.
must be due to orographic lifting.
Yes.
Taking that air mass and pushing it up real fast, like oomph.
A couple of rain and snow showers up in further north in Wyoming and into Montana, scattered around there. Nothing going on in the Pacific Northwest. Nothing going on up and down the West Coast and into the Southwest. So that's the full U.S. view of what's going on tonight. When all that action, of course, down in the Gulf states and in the lower Mississippi Valley. So we like, now that I figured out how to work this to get a better looking shot, thanks to the P folks at Tornado HQ. So don't get rid of it, okay? you, we took forever to try to find a nice looking working radar, so we're using the UCAR radar, and of course now can't get that full U.S. shot because they lost their data source and they haven't replaced it yet. Here's the GOES satellite tonight. You can see patchy clouds up in the northeast. That upper trough is kind of swinging down. And then you see the system coming out of the Rockies that's moving eastward and forcing all this development of showers and thunderstorms from Texas northeastward, and also the lead area that's moving through Alabama and southern Georgia. All of that's moving east. So we don't have any concerns about that turning up the eastern seaboard. I think some of that rain is probably going to make it into North Carolina, as far north as North Carolina. Certainly will make it here to Georgia tonight and for the first part of tomorrow. Hopefully it gets out of the way because I have a dog to walk. And other than that, looking up further north, there's dry air in the western lakes and northern plains. There's a nice big high that's coming down, and that is going to be shifting to the east and will be our supplier of nice weather.
And it will be nice tomorrow. Today here in the New York area, as you mentioned, Joe, we started out bright and sunny. Then we had a lot of clouds pop up during the course of the mid and late afternoon period. Even a little bit of shower activity, although the relative humidities were so low, we may have just seen virga. I mean, a lot of what was being indicated by radar probably was not even reaching the ground. And we may see something similar tomorrow, although not quite as widespread as what we saw today. And it looks like the pick of the lot, the pick of the week, is going to be Thursday with lots of sunshine from start to finish, and temperatures on Thursday likely getting up to warmer levels. As I said, We're going to be chilly tonight. Tomorrow, again, I think we're going to see temperatures are going to be mainly in the low and mid 60s here in the Hudson Valley, but 60s to around 70 with mainly sunny skies on Thursday. Great day to do some yard work. I plan to use the tractor mower and uh, do the weekly cutting of the lawn. And as we look ahead to the weekend, I don't know what we never, Joe and I never, you know, check before we do this show. It's always interesting to see what each of us have, gone for. When we're on the air, we hit, with the question. So, what do you think about this? So, Joe, I'm asking you, what do you think about this? Sun giving way to clouds on Friday, and then over the weekend, I'm mentioning the possibility late Saturday and again late Sunday for a shower or maybe even an isolated thunderstorm, more because of instability, little unstable air mass, maybe a little upper air disturbance that might cause things to bubble up in the late day hours after a bright sunny start, Saturday and Sunday. And temperatures both Saturday and Sunday, I think they'll get to or maybe even a little bit above 70 degrees. So, not a bad weekend coming up. It's not a washout. I wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans, but you should be on the alert, I think, for the possibility, small as it may be, for maybe a little bit of shower activity, maybe late on Saturday and again, very late on Sunday as well.
Yeah, I'm in line with that. That's kind of what my thinking was yesterday. You got this, this northwest flow, little ripples moving along it. Even though the high is going to be pretty much on top of us, the upper flow is uh, still there and still sending down, these little short waves that are going to go by. And I think any one of those could trigger a scattered shower or maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. Would not be surprised with that. Yeah, and the temperatures. I was thinking mostly upper 60s and lower 70s. Maybe some sea breeze issues along the immediate coast. Um, shouldn't be a big deal. And the way I've been saying it is because apparently some people seem to think that um, when you give a forecast that it applies to the exact spot that they're centered on and nothing else matters. But I just made it a point to say that with respect to these scattered showers, it's highly likely that most people won't see one. Okay, and if you do see it, it shouldn't last very long. I think that pretty much says it.
I mean, if you see one Saturday or Sunday late, chalk it up to bad luck.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Um, the Storm Prediction Center has that area in Texas, in a large area of slight risk, covering a good chunk of south and even into East Texas, and also into South Central Texas. And you can see there's two working. Where's that? Three now. That could be three severe thunderstorm watches up. A new one up before a small area going into East Texas and Southwest Louisiana. The marginal risk extending right along the lower Gulf Coast all the way to Georgia. So that justifies those storms that you see moving through southern Alabama, southwest Georgia, and over the Florida Panhandle. The forecast for tomorrow into Thursday is only a very small area of marginal risk is being indicated for South Georgia and northernmost Florida. And that's it. There's general thunderstorms running from Texas all across the lower Gulf states and up and down the east coast of Florida, not in the west coast, but the immediate west coast, but all mostly into the east. And again, this is also, looking at what's going on there in terms of that moisture. This is, I think, more of a rain issue than it is a severe weather issue after today. And they have no severe weather indicated for day 3 and no areas indicated in their long range. I just want to really quick just bring up the watches and warnings map. Joe, by the way, is monitoring NASA, so he'll let us know when it's time to bring it up on the screen. In the meantime, for the watches and warnings, there's still a few winter storm warnings that are up west of Denver, west and north of Denver, and that'll hopefully wind down soon. But we do have frost and advisories and freeze warnings up for around the Great Lakes and the northern areas of the Ohio Valley. Flash flood watches up across East Texas, much of Louisiana, into southern Mississippi and southern Alabama. And you can see where all the severe thunderstorm watches are in the whatever color that is, purplish color, light purple, from across most of south and southeast Texas. Uh, I wish I could. I don't know what I'm not colorblind. I'm just color ignorant. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Well, whatever floats your boat.
Yes, rainfall on WPC. See the big rains there from Texas on up into Kansas of 3 to 5 inches over the next 7 days, and at least a couple of inches spreading eastward into Mississippi. Slightly lower amounts through Alabama and Georgia and into South Carolina and southern North Carolina. Now, the Northeast and the northern mid Atlantic states, I'm thinking that this is probably for something that might happen on later Monday into Tuesday, where the bulk of this precip is being indicated, but it's mostly a quarter to a half an inch, although there are some pockets of a half to 3/4 being indicated as you go from western New Jersey on westward, and the amounts pick up in western PA and over Ohio and into West Virginia. Effectively nothing in terms of precip west of the Rockies. And then you still have this patch of precip of up to an inch of liquid, of melted in eastern Colorado. We have to still say that. Light precip across the northern plains and the northern Great Lakes.
And William Hubert on the chat board commenting directly to me saying, it's reaching the ground here, Joe. Making a comment and making a reference to the fact that I said that maybe a lot of the shower activity that's on radar to the north of New York City, maybe it was more Virga than anything else not reaching the ground, but apparently it is reaching the ground and perhaps even hitting William Huber on the head right at this moment in time.
And I know the other day he put his annuals in, and of course it started raining as soon as he was done watering them. But the water doesn't get wasted. The plants will use that to grow. Let's look at the upper air and see how the new GFS changes things with regards to the setup here. And of course, in the meantime, looking at the upper air from this afternoon, you see how we're just kind of trapped here with this upper low that's sitting just east of Newfoundland. You've got this kind of long jet that comes off the Pacific, suppressed to the south through the Gulf states, and then out right across the Atlantic. And the flow is sort of split here. So you have this northern part of the jet that's coming down with the cooler air. And the thing is that northern stream remains there. It's not very strong, but it does remain there going into the weekend, which is why we're including this idea of the chance for a scattered shower or storm. And in fact, if you take a look here for Friday night on the upper air, there is some troughing along the East Coast, particularly from Pennsylvania on southward. Now, that's going to take all that southern moisture out to the east, but there is enough instability here in the Northeast, and particularly in the Northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states, that you could wind up with a scattered shower or a thunderstorm. And it's still kind of there on Saturday and on Sunday. There's a little ripple here, for example, just a Sunday afternoon. If you look real close, there's a little ripple there in western New York and western Pennsylvania. So you got these very small trigger mechanisms that are at play. Another trough kind of swings around in Canada early next week, and then that lifts out. But the GFS decides that it's going to amplify this to an upper low off of southeast of Long Island. So once again, it develops some kind of coastal low. I don't know. It's been doing this for so long now, and I don't think any one of them have really verified. It wraps it up. And then after that, so now we're into the latter part of next week, and we do see some ridging here, Joe, beginning on Thursday. Let's assume that if that upper low is wrong or a whole lot weaker, then that ridge will probably fly up even faster starting on Wednesday of next week. And then going into the weekend, it kind of holds on through Friday. And then you get some other trough that comes on through. Big ridge there from Baja northeastward into the middle Mississippi Valley, punching up. So yeah, I kind of see why CPC is looking at this and saying, you know what, maybe we are going to get into some above normal, weather here in terms of temperatures in the longer term. But I'll tell you right now, you got a blocking high that's still sitting up near Greenland. You still have energy that's running across southern Canada. I would not, the confidence level here in terms of what's on the models. I'm not 100% sold yet. I can see how it can happen, and all patterns break down eventually. But I want to at least I want at least several more days of this in order to. So I'm exercising the right of prove it to me.
You must be from Missouri.
Yeah, you got to prove it to me in this
Yeah,
sort of
the show me
situation.
state.
I just want
Joe,
to
we're at 80.
go ahead.
We're at 8:01 right now, and the launch, according to what I've been monitoring, NASA says that the visibility they need clear weather for Bermuda for them to capture a photograph of the ion cloud, the chemical clouds are supposed to be releasing from this sounding rocket. And they've been slowly trending toward better weather or better skies for that. It seems like right now that they're on track for a launch at 8:04, which is just 3 minutes from now. So I'm in the
Minus
midst of
three.
sharing the screen. Yes.
T minus 300 minutes and 20 seconds and counting.
And we'll see whether or not we have a launch. This would be a first for us. It's the first time we've ever covered an actual rocket launch by NASA.
Yes.
And you can see it on your screen. This is not.
It looks like it's on a. Even. It looks like it's on a slingshot.
Yeah. It's a black Brand 12. This is a sounding rocket. It is far smaller than, let's say, even the Mercury, missions, or the Gemini missions with the Atlas rockets dwarf this rocket, which really is, I guess it's the equivalent of one of those bottle rockets that you that we used to in our younger days shoot off on the 4th of July. But it is potent enough to go a couple of 100 miles up into the atmosphere. And once it gets up to that altitude, 10 minutes after the launch, it's going to release canisters containing barium tracer elements, which will. Okay, now they're holding. That they say now they're in a hold.
What's the time? T minus what?
They're holding a T minus 15, I believe.
15 minutes or 15 seconds?
Yeah, I believe that. No, 15. Well, if it's 15 seconds, expect to see it any moment. But no, I think
T minus.
I think 50. What they're doing is they're waiting. They're waiting for the skies to clear, so that, in Bermuda, so that they'll have a good view of the tracer elements. And by the way, the longer that they hold on this, the darker the skies will become along the eastern seaboard of the United States, and the better the odds that we may actually see it. Maybe not necessarily in a few minutes or even in 15 minutes, but if they can run the clock out to the end of the launch window, which is at 8:44, by then the skies may actually be clear enough and dark enough. I don't know about clear enough locally, but dark enough so that we might actually be able to see the actual sounding rocket quickly, within about a minute or two, rising out of the southern part of the sky, and maybe 10 minutes later, see that chemical cloud being released in the atmosphere as well. Again, it's supposed to be a green-colored cloud, which within 30 seconds is going to change to a deep purple.
Oh, here's another. They use that. They just moved the shot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You could see it's.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
You could see it's a relatively small rocket. This is from a different perspective, and that's the Atlantic Ocean. They're going to shoot it out over the Atlantic Ocean, if and when they do shoot it.
I just want to address Alex Pisaki. Uh, you keep asking about Washington D.C. weather, Washington D.C. weather, Washington D.C. weather. I responded uh, days ago to you directly, so I'm going to respond again. We don't do zip code forecast. Well, you get one zip code forecast. You got that a week or so ago. But we don't do zip code forecasts usually on the YouTube. So you would, so if you keep asking, you're still not going to get it. Okay, so just stop asking. Uh, anyway, I had to say something because you know me. So anyhow, that's a beautiful. I've never been to Wallops Island was always the I always use Wallops Island's observation in the wintertime when it came to rain snow situations because you knew if it was still snowing there and hadn't changed over to rain, that usually was a pretty good sign that you had a ton of cold air.
Indeed, and they're trying to build well, they're in the midst of building what they call um, the Mid-Atlantic Range Space Center, where they're hoping they've already done it a couple of times. Not too often. More often than not, the rockets they shoot from Wallops Island are these little sounding rockets, but they have on occasion shot even a rocket to the moon, believe it or not, from Wallops Island, and they're trying to see if they're going to be doing more of that in the coming months and years to come.
Well, so we were trying 2 nights in a row to get to get to see this. So now we're still on a hold.
We're still on a hold, yeah.
Maybe David locked himself in the bathroom because they need him to operate the slingshot. Or if we could do it Bugs
Well,
Bunny style, somebody has to go out there and light the fuse.
well, the launch window closes at 8:44. So they have until, and they're right now in a hold at T minus 15. So that tells me that what they if they have to start that count no later than 8:29. 8:29, they have to start the clock in order to go all the way to the end of the
Right.
launch window at 8:44.
All right. So
So
you know
I
what?
think
Let's
that's what they're going to intend to do.
All right. So let's come back. Let's finish off the GFS, and then we'll do a little Briller Jeopardy, and then we'll see what we'll come back to NASA and see what they're up to.
Sure thing. Let me just stop sharing here for a moment, and
And you have.
back to weather.
Okay. So here we go. This is what actually I should what I should do here is I'm going to use the wider view of the GFS, the U.S. view. So this way we can take a look at what's going on if the snow ever does stop in Colorado. But this is the latest model run. You can see the high in southern Michigan, a nice sprawling big high, pretty strong for this time of year too. A 10:30-ish high is not too shabby, and the showers and storms, which diminish overnight, and then you get this rain that moves eastward and off the North Carolina coast and offshore. So the northern mid-Atlantic should be okay tomorrow. Still showing, by the way, a few sprinkles up in Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and northern Maine, but everybody else should be fine. And then the high builds in really nicely for Thursday. By the way, the snow is just about over with. Should be over with in the next few hours or so in Colorado. And then as we move through Thursday, with that being the best day of the week, and then you start to see on Friday, you see a few little specks there in the Northeast. That's some of that instability that Joe mentioned. And also, again, Saturday afternoon and evening, much of it very widely scattered and inland. And then on Sunday, maybe a little better chance. There's some kind of energy that shoots out from Kansas and Missouri and runs east across the Ohio Valley to Virginia with some showers. And it's actually got some showers up into eastern Pennsylvania, western New Jersey, and then a few other spots sprinkled around. And then a steadier rain moving eastward later Monday night. This, as I said, this GFS run, the prior one, and this one, trying to take a low out underneath us, basically across Virginia and the Delmarva Peninsula and passing off the New Jersey coast. And if that's true, then we're looking at a little bit of doom and gloom in terms of an east wind and clouds coming in. But I'm not really 100% on board with this yet. And then it's got dry air coming in with high pressure in the east for Tuesday into Wednesday. And toward the end of next week, with that ridge building in the east, I would imagine that the wind, the high settles there off the Virginia, North Carolina coast. So you got some southwest isobars there. So that should allow for some warming before another front comes through around during the weekend of the 21st, 22nd, at least on this model run. But again, I would just be very careful here. We saw the models trying to warm it up for early next week. That for the first half of next week, that's off the table now. So I just want to, again, I want to wait at least several days to see if this is really going to be the plan, or is it going to wind up that the block is going to be dominating to the point where we're going to have to continue to sit and wait for a real break in this weather pattern. So
are you questioning those at the Climate Prediction Center, Joe?
well, I mean, it's my never to be humble opinion. Uh, it wouldn't be the first time that they put out an above normal that didn't work out. So we'll
True.
see. I'm being nice about it. So I have my yellow pad
Okay.
and my pen, and I have to go to a new page because we're going to do Briller Jeopardy, and I think it's another one of these 10, the top 10, whatever it is. So let's see what I'm thinking we're running out of stuff. Anyway, but no matter. He keeps finding them. So let's go. I'm ready.
Right.
The chairman had a great birthday, by the
Okay.
way. He had his Chinese food with his mom, and he's probably digesting it now on the day after.
Now he has. This is a NOAA top 10 list, and he says that he saved the hardest for last. And you are the lucky individual who will be getting
Great.
this. However, for an extra 2 strikes, he is giving you a bonus question, and that bonus question is: the summers of '91 and '93 in Central Park share a record for the most what?
91 and 94 share a record.
91 and 93.
91 and 93 share a record for the most
what?
What?
Well, what?
I'm thinking it's either maybe most days above 90 or most days above 100. So I'll say most days above 90.
And you are absolutely correct.
Okay.
THI breath. But now for a second bonus strike.
Okay.
How many 90-degree days did each of those years have? And you have to get within 3 to get the bonus question correct. So you're correct. Most 90-degree days in Central Park in 91 and 93. But now how many in each of those years did it get to or above 90?
I'll say 38.
Ding, ding, ding. Almost 39. You had to get
39.
within 3 for a bonus, and you got both bonus questions correctly.
Okay, so I got 2 extra. I get 2 extra strikes, so that gives me 2 foul balls.
2 foul balls.
All right.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, according to NOAA, these 10 are the windiest states in the union. All 50 states are included, and he also puts good luck.
The 10 windiest states?
The 10 windiest states.
Oh my God. I mean, this could be like all over the map. All right, so I'll start this off. I'm going to say, I'm trying to think of all the places that have like the wind things going around. So I'll start with South Dakota.
South Dakota, you asked? And on our list here, South Dakota is number 6.
Okay. So if we have South Dakota, I'm going to assume that we have North Dakota.
You know what happens though when you assume, don't you, Joe?
Yeah, so North Dakota didn't make the list.
You make an ass of you and me.
Right.
No, North Dakota did not make the list. That's a foul ball. Foul.
Okay. They got those wind things in Texas. So I'm going to say
Yes,
Texas.
they didn't work too well this past winter, did they?
Well, they didn't winterize
uh,
them.
yeah. Well, Joe, foul ball.
Oh my, I already wasted two of them. Oh, good Lord. How the hell did I get South Dakota then? Um, all right, well, let's go with Nebraska.
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 Nebraska. That's number 5.
Nebraska is number 5. Okay. Hmm. South Dakota, Nebraska. Oh God, this is all right. So let's stay in the same general vicinity they're in and go Kansas.
Kansas, Dorothy's favorite state. And in terms of Kansas, Joe, strike one.
Oh God, this is very difficult. You know, there's not a whole lot of logic to it. You know, I'm trying to. Oh, good Lord. I know they call Chicago the Windy City, but that has absolutely nothing to do with the wind. It has to do with
The
the
state of Illinois,
right. It has to do
political
with the
climate.
politicians. You know, I'm almost ready to just like throw my hands up in the air because I can't even. You know, I'm trying to decipher in my mind. I'm thinking at all the different kinds of weather that occur, and you know the causes of all the weather. I was the Chinook wind, for example, in when you
I'll give
see
you
it,
a. I'm going to give you
Montana,
a.
Wyoming.
I'm going to give you a Bugs Bunny hint. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Picture, if you will, a somewhat rotund with a 5 o'clock shadow man and another guy who's thinner and he has a kind of a goatee, and they look out over the ocean and they both say, "A ship, a ship, a ship." And that's my hint to you for one of the one
Hawaii,
of the windy states.
Hawaii.
Number 10 on the list is Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah. How many strikes do I have?
One.
One. So Hawaii. Well, they're always having blizzards up in Alaska, so why don't I go that way? Let's say as we have Hawaii, let me put Alaska in there.
Believe it or not, this is like a bookend. Hawaii was number 10 at the bottom of the list. Alaska is number 1 at the top of the
All
list.
right, so that's Alaska. Alaska,
Yes.
Nebraska, South Dakota, and Hawaii. There's 6 up more. Hmm.
Boy,
I'm going to die early with this. Uh, well, I mean, they get a lot of storms in the Pacific Northwest that come in, and some of those are pretty hefty gales. So why don't we try Washington?
strike 2.
Ooh, okay, so that logic didn't work. Oh God.
I would have thought the same thing, by the way.
And then I'm thinking in all the times that I've been in Florida, it's always breezy. You know, it's always breezy there, but that's along the coast. It may not necessarily be the case inland. Hmm. Oh God, this is terrible. Maine.
Hold on.
We're getting a breaking bulletin from NASA.
Hold on. Hold on.
I think they're picking up the count.
The executive producer says it. Hold on. All right, what they're doing right now is they're running a safety check. They're all saying green. All right, so we'll continue with the question until
right. Can I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, I'm
Keep
sorry.
going.
So I had just said Maine.
They're going down a checklist here. Maine, is that your final
Yes,
answer?
Maine.
Strike 3, you're out.
Yeah, this was very difficult. So what was go ahead. So what was number 2?
I'll give it to you the complete list here. Alaska was 1, Wyoming 2, Michigan 3, Montana 4, Nebraska 5, South Dakota 6, Oklahoma 7, Wisconsin 8, Colorado, your favorite state, Joe, 9, and Hawaii was 10.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I was bound to fail at one point, so this was not that easy. I was just trying to,
No,
you know, the other ones you could kind of sort of logically piece together. Once you got a few of them, you could sort of maneuver your way around it. But this one had a scattering of stuff all over the place.
Sure. I mean, it's not, you in some cases, like with, warmest or highest dew points or whatever, it was somewhere in the south or southeast. This, as you said, we're scattered all. I mean, we had Michigan, we had Colorado, Alaska, Hawaii. It's just crazy.
Yep. So they're running through this checklist. So what do they say? Cheeseburgers, French fries, Cokes, onion rings.
I think if they're gonna pretty much start any moment now. Let me go back and share the screen here.
Okay, Scott Briller hitting super chat. Thank you very much, Scott. This was a tough one. This was very, very difficult.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my headphones because you can't hear what I'm hearing. However, if I do not use the headphones anymore and use it off of my regular speaker, my computer speaker.
Yeah, we're hearing a lovely tone. All right. That was a lovely tone. I'm not hearing you, Joe, so I don't know what you're doing. But you guys, everybody can see the NASA stuff from Wallops Island there, waiting for the slingshot to be fired. Joseph. Okay, here he goes. All right, now he's got his headsets back on. Thank you, Scott, by the way, for doing these lists. Joseph, Renata, if you're on the board, could you let him know that? Oh, now he's switching back. Something happened. I have no idea what, but something happened. I can't hear you. I do not hear you.
Microphone.
Now I hear you.
Now you hear me.
Now I hear you.
Good. All right.
It was probably the best dead air that anybody's ever had, just so you know. Okay.
All right. Now,
so what's the situation with these people? Fired the slingshot already.
Can you?
What did they do that? Like this? Oh, there they go. Okay.
There they go. There they are. Now, the reason I did that is so that you can probably hear through the computer microphone what they're saying, but now they're not saying anything.
Oh, okay. Well, we got the shot up. That's what matters.
If you remember, I said they need, since the launch window closes at 8:44.
They need to get up by 8:29. They have to start the count at
8:29.
8:29.
Right.
Okay, so we don't know. So have they started the count yet?
So go ahead.
Provide 50K launcher, initial wind weight is setting.
Roger, azimuth 90.6. Elevation 76.4. How copy?
Azimuth 90.6. Elevation 76.4.
I don't know if the folks. I don't know if you guys can hear them talking in the background.
8,
Here, wait a minute.
7,
Okay, here we go.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mark. 10 minutes and counting.
10 minutes and counting.
Like an idiot, I'm like staring at the screen, waiting for them to send this off, and then he says 10 minutes. Oh, good Lord. Joe, I just want to let you know, by the way, that Mr. Reuben Fairchild has joined us tonight and has done his usual round of forecast shopping to let us know what Rich Hoffman is doing. He also commented on the. He said that the technology problems continue to plague us. No, the technology's not plaguing us. It's the fact that we're old and we're very slow on switching things. Okay, we got two hands and all the rest of it. So it's just we're slow on the uptake here. All right. Now he's complaining that taxpayers are wasted money on this. Are you a taxpayer, Mr. Reuben Fairchild? Are you a taxpayer? Just wondering. Just kind of curious about that. So what do we got now? What is it? T-minus 9 minutes and counting.
I think based upon when they said 10 minutes to go to launch, I'm expecting the launch then to be somewhere around 8:34.
Okay, so you know what? While we're waiting, I want to do an obituary.
Okay.
Okay, so for those of you who are fans of the old television show Dennis the Menace, Gloria Henry, who played Alice, died yesterday.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Yes.
Boy, she was probably the last surviving cast member, aside from Jay North.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't even think he does anything in television anymore, as far as I know. Yeah, she did not do a lot of. She had small parts in big screen movies. Most of her work was in television, and she showed up in different shows from place to place, and from time to time. So I happened to see that. So you and I, being old show buffs, would appreciate Gloria Henry. And then of course, there was one point where she left the show, and I'm thinking she left the show because I don't know if she left the show because she was having a baby, and they didn't want to write a pregnancy into the show, so they made up some excuse that she was visiting her sister or her mother, and that's when they had like somebody that came in and played Dennis's aunt. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I remember that Joseph Kearns, who played the original, the first Mr. Wilson, was replaced by Gail Gordon. Joseph Kearns was a very well-known radio actor, and when he passed in the early 1960s, he was only about 55 years old. Joe.
Yeah, he had a massive heart. He had a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was replaced, as I said, by Gail Gordon, and of course, Gail Gordon went on to become Lucille Ball's second banana on all of those versions of the Lucy Show.
And Gail Gordon was also one of the original. Gail Gordon and B. Benaderet were originally the picks to play Fred and Ethel on I Love Lucy. But Gail Gordon was
Right.
doing another show. What was it? Was he doing My Little Margie, or was it My Little
I'm not
Margie?
sure what he was.
No, he was doing my with Eve Arden, My Dear Secretary. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
let's see.
that was the name of the show. And B. Benaderet was doing Burns and Allen.
V. Benaderet did so many things. I mean, she was on. She was also very big on radio, and she did a lot of uncredited characters on Warner Brothers cartoons. Um, so she finally got a starring role when she played Kate Bradley on Petticoat Junction. The launch time is now set for 8:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Oh, okay. So he has five.
So
We have 5 minutes. So let me throw you a quick. Let's see how good your I Love Lucy stuff. Okay. So Vivian Vance played Ethel Mertz. Okay.
right.
All right. During the run of the series, she had 3 different middle names. Can you give me those middle names and the episode that those names were uh, used in?
Uh, she the episode where they went to visit her father in New Mexico. She
Right.
was Ethel May Potter, right?
Ethel May Potter, we never forgot her.
We never
Yes.
forgot her.
Yes.
And there
One
was
of my
also
favorite
in the
lines in
one.
there. One of my favorite lines in there when I forgot the name of the actor who plays her father. I think it was Will something or another. Says, Ethel May, you were never prettier. And William Frawley, without missing a beat, says, well, I won't argue with that. And you can see Vivian Vance, at that, and she was, immediately turned and gave him a dirty look. It was genius. Okay, so that was the first one. Can you remember the other one?
The episode where she and Lucy bought the same dress
Oh, very
and
good. I
sang
didn't
the
think you
famous
I didn't
song.
think you would get that one. Go ahead. So
Yep.
what?
And that was the one where uh, as they sang, if you ever in a jam, each one of them started taking the other person apart or whatever. But when she walked out with the dress, Fred looked up and said, "Why, Ethel Louise Mertz,
That's correct.
right?
And the song was
Right,
Cole Porter's Friendship.
right.
Okay, so what was the
Friendship,
friendship? Such a perfect
friend."
friendship. Okay, so let's not get
Now there was
copyright. Let's
the
not get a
third one.
copyright issue. So what was the third one?
The third one, I don't remember. Believe it or not, only Joe
Okay,
Chiaffi would know. I Love Lucy
right.
name
It
is
was
such as your.
in the third one. It was Ethel Roberta. Was the middle name, and it was in the episode entitled "Million Dollar Idea," where they make Aunt Martha's old fashioned salad dressing. And
Wow.
at the end of the episode, when when Ricky tells Lucy that they have a dilemma because they have all these orders and they have to deliver them. So how are they going to do that? And she turns to Vivian Vance and she says, we have that all figured out. She turns to Vivian Vance and says, come along, Ethel Roberta.
Huh. Huh.
And they come out with the shopping carts and the roller skates that they're going to just go around town, delivering it by hand. So you got 2 out of 3.
Okay, so I was just going to say we're 2 minutes out
Okay, so I'll shut up
from
now.
launch here, and we'll see what we can see or what will happen here.
A little more time. All right, last 2 minutes and hold.
Are they holding again?
I just heard somebody say holding. Now, why are they holding?
I
I
don't
got to
know.
also explain to you, from all of these years of watching these, if you were ever like, so frustrated with the space shuttle not getting off the ground on schedule, these rockets from Wallops Island, perpetually. I mean, I don't remember a sounding rocket mission.
PI to PM. Let's go ahead. Earliest we can pick up the count is 42. That's based on aircraft positioning.
Kim copies. Do you want to plan to pick up at 0042?
Confirmed.
Copy that. TD, we will plan to pick up decount at 0042.
Well,
TD copies.
they're going to pick it up at 8:42
All right,
now.
sir, this is ROA.
But my question now is how much time is going to be left
Will
on
we
the
have
clock?
updated wind wave settings or hold with what we have?
Got to hold with what we got.
Copy that.
And program you copy last. Picking up a clock at 0042. Programmer copy 0042. EDR, so can you meet me on 5?
So basically speaking, if you have clear skies right now where you are, and if you want to, and if you know where you are relative to where Wallops Island is, and from New York City, Wallops Island is almost due south.
We'll pick up the count here. It's 8:42 minus 3 minutes, so we'll give us an
Okay, so
8:45 right at the end of the window.
so yeah, the end of the window, they're going all the way to 8:45, Joe. That'll be it. That'll be the end of the window. And if that be the case,
Was to allow the aircraft to position itself in the correct spot in order for the cameras on board to be able to.
In the
so this
meantime,
is actually the best
go ahead.
the
I'm
best
sorry.
possible, if you want to try to see this launch, when they do lift off, about a minute or 90 seconds after the launch, if you look toward the southern part of the sky, you might see the rocket, because the sky by then will be certainly dark enough for you to see this. If you don't see the rocket, then wait about another 9 minutes and look high up toward the southern part of the sky, and you might see the barium release, which will appear as a greenish cloud, which will last for about 30 seconds and then change quickly to purple and then fade out very quickly. So this is the thing that I was saying, if they had launched on time, the sky would have been much too bright, but now they've waited until the end of the launch window, and the sky now is considerably darker than it was, let's say, around 8 o'clock this evening. So now at least you have a chance. You have a chance to at least see this against a reasonably dark sky. If not the actual launch of the rocket, then maybe about 8 or 9 or 10 minutes after, at around 8:55, the pop of the chemicals that will be released into the atmosphere, creating this exotic greenish to purplish colored cloud. Where you are, Joe, I guess you could see it as well. You're going to have to look over toward the northeastern part of the sky for all of this, if it is going to be visible at all, if it's clear where you are.
I got a mountain in the way.
You got a mountain.
Actually, it's cloudy, so that ends. I wouldn't be able to see it, and then I have to go out the side of the mountain in order to get out there, and I'm not driving at night. Anyhow, how much time do we have? We have some time, so we'll continue with this.
A launch at 8:45.
Okay, so we have 5 minutes to fill with riveting television. So we might as well. So Johnny Quest, thank you. Okay, thank you. You got rid of him. He was being a pest. So Alex Pasaki, go join the other ones and hitting the dislike button before the show starts. Mr. Ruben Fairchild asking me about gasoline prices. So I actually had to get on a gas line today. It was a short one, but I had to get on a gas line to top off my car for the summer. I think they're going to do what they do every summer. They're going to peak around the 4th of July weekend, and then they'll level off, and they'll probably ease as the summer goes. As far as everything that's going on right now, I mean, unless there are further developments, the futures market has priced in the effect of the Colonial Pipeline shutdown. So the gasoline futures today actually went down, and in fact, they really haven't moved. They moved a little bit yesterday, but they certainly didn't spike up 30 or 40 cents a gallon in the futures markets. And if you look at the gasoline futures going forward, they all are showing a decline in prices. So this is a very short-term situation that will alleviate itself in time, assuming that they open the pipeline by the end of this week, which is what they said that they're going to do. So that's my never to be humble opinion. I'm not really too concerned about gasoline prices. So anyhow, that's
But what about supply?
no. I mean,
They're saying that
there are obvious supply issues that are there, but if they get this pipeline open like they say they're going to, they actually already partially opened it in some places. So if they get the whole thing back up in full operation by the end of the week, I don't, the supply hits will eventually get alleviated, and there shouldn't be any long-term problem from this. So that's, again, my never to be humble opinion. Yes, Ruben, I do. I follow the economy. I trade from time to time. So yeah, I pay attention to all this stuff. That's why I see sometimes when you guys get into these political conversations on the chat board, and especially when you're talking about something like this, it's the markets work out a lot of these. The markets almost always work these problems out. So you can sit and pontificate all you want about one party versus the other party. At the end of the day, the markets give you the final answer. So the markets are always right. Every day when they trade and they close, the closing price, it's right, and it'll be right again.
No go. Repeat, we are no go.
No go.
oh,
Gee, to quote Monty, what? So all those hamburgers they bought are going to have to go to waste, and then they have to go out and buy them again.
oh God.
15.
To quote Monty Python, Joe, this was very well not done. It was one of the most brilliant displays of inertia I have ever seen.
All right. Stop share.
Well, all right. So let's put the slingshot away. Bring it out. What are they going to try this again tomorrow?
We are 10 for the night.
That's it. Forget it.
This is turning into. Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. I'm only
What
teasing.
are you going to do?
Well, you know what?
Well, we did our best.
This is where you chime into NASA. Call them up on a rotary telephone, and just say, "Technology, NASA, technology."
All right.
God.
Well, we will try again tomorrow.
Mrs. Rayo, by the way, has just informed us that Bill Ritter on Channel 7 bought gasoline in Manhattan and paid $4 a gallon for it.
Well,
What do
how many gasoline stations are there on the island of Manhattan?
Yeah.
I know there's one on First Avenue and 96th Street.
Right. Joe, you remember there was one on First Avenue. There was an Esso station years ago when we were kids.
Esso.
The Esso
On
station.
the corner of 119th Street.
119th, there was that Esso station. On First Avenue and 106th Street, there was the old, I think it was 106th, was Sinclair, the dinosaur.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
As my father-in-law likes to say, drive with care, but don't buy Sinclair.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a few of them around. I don't know who actually owns. Well, none of the oil majors own gas stations anymore. Those are all, owned by, like Cumberland Farms and Circle K and all the rest of it. So the brands are still there, but the actual companies like Amoco Amoco's, is long gone, been bought out by, I don't know if it was by Chevron, but the big boys, Chevron, Exxon, they don't have gas stations anymore. 23rd and 1st is Citgo, says Steve LaPointe. Yes, that's right. That's the other one in Manhattan, the 23rd. So,
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember the one on the one on 96th Street used to be City Service, and I don't know what. I guess it's Citgo now because that's
Citgo,
what City
City
Service
City
used to be like.
Services is Citgo, yeah.
Right.
All right, so now that we have the gas station brands all taken care of, you know what they have down south, Joe? Flying Aces. Remember Flying
Fly,
Aces?
Flying A. Remember
Flying
That's
A.
Flying A.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
short for Flying Aces. They have those here down south.
They used to have a commercial. In fact, the Yankees at one time, many years ago, was sponsored by Flying A, and they had a dog, a dachshund, I think,
Yes.
not a dachshund, a beagle with a sad face, and the commercial said, "At Flying A, when it comes to your car, ooh, do we worry." Remember that?
Yep. Yep.
In fact, I can remember the name of the dog. The dog's name was Axelrod.
Oh, no kidding.
It was a beagle. It was a beagle for Flying A. The name of the dog was Axelrod,
Joe,
and they
did they
worried about your.
Joe, did they say why they canceled it? Was it the winds again? Or they just missed the launch window?
Um, I'm so PO'd right now with them. Let me see that what the Twitter launch scrub tonight's launch of the KI Net X sounding rocket has been scrubbed due to cloudy skies in Bermuda and cloudy skies in Wallops, and the next launch will be no earlier than May the 12th at 8:06 p.m.
Yeah, okay.
Backup days, Joe, they're going to keep trying this until May 16th. They got till Sunday to get this thing off the ground.
All right. Well, the troughing relaxes somewhat, so that means the upper level winds should be a bit better. Um, so that hopefully won't be a problem. And with that high building in, I'm thinking it should be clear tomorrow. Although they may have an issue in Bermuda because all that stuff off to the south off North Carolina is going to go straight east. So they may still have those cloud issues in Bermuda. So we'll see.
It's never easy with these guys. All right. Well, tomorrow night we'll have another shot at it, and we'll have another round of weather to talk about. And I have to ask, unless she hears me right now, unless she's watching
No,
right now,
no, Joe,
uh,
she's gone.
she's signed
She's
off.
gone.
I was going to ask her because Mr. Briller has been requesting that she be back for another round of cooking Briller Jeopardy on Sunday, but I don't know whether or
All
not
right.
she's
Well, we'll
going to be
see
able
what
to
happens
do
when we get there. Okay. So we'll be back tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern time. Hopefully, it will not be another brilliant display of inertia, and they will get we'll get the launch up, and so we'll see everybody. Thanks again for everybody for being here and putting up with us. You know, especially when we get these technical glitches that show up every once in a while. We do our best. And
Yeah.
also, again, thanking the chairman and David Fuller. And there was one more. Hold on. I want to get all the super chat hits tonight. So, uh, David Fuller, the chairman, and who else? There's a third one, and I can't see it. Where'd it go? Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Michael McGuire, who was on the chat board earlier. Happy birthday to you. I am going to find this if it kills me. Who was the third person? So naturally, I can't do it that way. I forgot who the third super chat hit was. So my apologies. Oh, Steve Lapointe. Thank you, Steve, for hitting super chat. All right, so we'll see everybody tomorrow. Let's end this agony now. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.